Hi everyone, thank you for joining me at the 401 Files HQ. So here in this room is where I'm going to be reading out a lot of my subscribers' encounters, personal experiences that have happened to you guys. And so if you have had an experience or an encounter that you can't explain, you think is creepy or would really make good content on the channel, then please send that into 401files@gmail.com. That's 401files@gmail.com. If you've had an experience or something creepy happen to you in your life, we want to hear about it, send them in and let's get them read out. So without further ado guys, here's a story that I've had sent in to me by one of our subscribers called Andy T. Laird. Andy, thank you so much for sending me this in, and I can't wait to read this one out for you guys, so enjoy this. As promised on Facebook, please find below a strange incident which happened to me and my wife while on holiday in Wales. We would appreciate anyone that can explain this village or the hanging dolls. Our strangest occurrence was while we were staying in North Wales. We stayed on a farm in Arnig, which was awesome by the way. We planned a trip to Mount Snowdon, arriving early morning. We took the train to the top of the mountain, but unfortunately we were greeted with heavy rain. The coffee shop at the top was packed with families, huddled together wearing shorts, flip-flops, etc., all looking cold and miserable. The weather was so severe that we knew we would never get any shots, so we decided to call it a day and head back down. As we were wearing professional gear, unlike the families in the coffee shop, we decided to hike back down, which turned out to be quite fun. It was a good few hours later and we eventually reached the bottom. The sun popped out. I guess it was just never meant to be. As it was approaching sunset, we grabbed some nice shots and decided to head back to the farm in Arnig. This is where things got a little weird. We were following Google Maps along rivers, through forests, and finally started to drive down a mountain into a narrow road. I didn't recognise anything, and it definitely wasn't the route that we took on the way to the mountain. I knew something was wrong, as we had taken more time than coming from the farm, and I was certain that once again, Google Maps had let me down. The road was becoming narrower, and we suddenly drove through a village. Now when I say village, it seemed like it was just one road in and the same road out. Now I know there's probably a simple explanation for all of this, but take into account that it was now becoming late, and we were totally lost and was greeted with this very strange scene. In the first house as we drove past was a little girl made of straw, wearing bright yellow rain gear and a hat which sounds just fine, right? Only she was hanging by her neck by a noose. I looked at my wife and we just smiled and thought, well, this is weird. A few more houses along and there was another straw figure hanging from the neck, and then another one. We managed to kind of laugh it off and thought, never mind, but still, why were they hanging from a noose around their necks? To make the scenario a little weirder, not one house had a light on, and the village appeared empty, completely empty, no cars, no people. We continued through the village, driving down the mountain until there was no houses. The road just kind of narrowed to a single lane and then that was it. We were at the end of the road, facing what looked like a slate quarry. A big mountain stood before us and we now had to U-turn and drive back up through that village to the main road. This would be another hour and a half before we could even then try and reset Google Maps again, which we eventually did. We were both happy as it gave us another route this time. We should be fine and head back to the farm is what we thought in no time. After driving through a forest and what appeared to be a different route, we found ourselves back in the village. I was starting to lose my patience, as it was now around 10:30 at night and we knew that it was a few hours away from the farm. Neither of us wanted to arrive after midnight as we would probably wake the owners up. So after a little cursing, we headed back to the main road to reset Google Maps once again. Google Maps gave us another route, but this time we recognised that we were on the same road heading back towards the village again, of the hanging dolls. Google kept sending us on the same route, so perhaps there was another road at the village that we had missed. However, the crazy thing is, there was no other route except the road which led to the quarry. I looked at the fuel gauge and noticed that we now needed fuel to get back to the farm. We headed back to the main road and ignored Google this time. Our luck had suddenly changed though, and there was a garage still open. This was close to midnight and I assumed that most would close around 10:30. The employee looked as if he was cashing up, but I filled up the tank, went inside and asked him how to get back to Arnig. He gave us directions, which was back the way we came, up towards that damn village. I tried to explain what we had seen and he looked at me as if I was crazy. He said, if I was you I'd stay on the main road. It would take longer but be easier for you. Well, you guessed it. I took the main road and we arrived well after midnight. The next day we explained to the farmers about the village and the dolls, but they had no idea. I'm sure it was perhaps a festival, party or some kind of celebration, and that there was probably an easy explanation. However, combined with the fact that we were lost and kept ending up there, wasn't funny. And if I'm honest, it was a little unnerving. Not forgetting, where were all the people? Wow, very interesting story. So Andy, thank you for sending that in, mate. I really appreciate that. I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. That was sent in from Andy T, and the place that he stayed was a place in Arnig, North Wales. It is strange, it's very strange. We hear a lot about these incidents. It's not the first time I've read a story similar to that, where people are travelling down a road and all of a sudden it's like they've gone through a wormhole or a time slip. They'll start to notice that people are wearing different clothing to the time period. They might start noticing that people are wearing Victorian clothing, or that people are riding around on horses, pulling carts, and the area is just very outdated. So it does make you think, do people actually go through time slips? Do people experience wormholes only momentarily before they're back again in the present day? Makes you think. You guys comment below, let me know what you think, and until the next one, take it easy, look after yourselves, stay safe, and as always, peace.